We're going to introduce the topic and then we're going to go for two-way conversation. So welcome everybody to the Tech Talk today and tomorrow, cybercrime prevention. We are doing this series kind of around the future, talking about where things are at today and where they're going. So I am really happy to be joined in dual mode today. We are broadcasting live on LinkedIn and YouTube at Tech Diva Success, and on our Facebook group, just to share the love and get people into the clubhouse. We're going to do about 15 minutes of live conversation to lay down the foundation. All of you who are in the clubhouse room are going to get a chance to come up on stage and interact with our guest today. It's Kristen Judge. If you're in the security realm, we want you on stage with us. Raise your hand. Vicky is our wonderful moderator handling the clubhouse. I'm live on the video with Kristen. We are live out here. So what we're going to do is just kick off the conversation. We do ask that you follow everyone on stage here. Make sure, Vicky, if you can give me and Kristen mod rights. It looks like you're the maid mod here. And if you need an invite to Clubhouse, send us a link. We'll try to get you in right after this. And from that, I just want to start by introducing Kristen Judge. I'd love it if you introduced yourself, Kristen. I know many people may know you because you go live a lot as well, but go ahead and introduce yourself.
Thanks, Nicole. So great to be here with you and Vicky again. I am Kristen Judge, the founder of the Cybercrime Support Network, and we are the US's national program for cybercrime victims. We're talking about individuals and small businesses. If they've been impacted by cybercrime, they come to us. So we are trying to make sure that there's not all this confusion for people once they've been a victim, say, well, where do I go? Who do I call? And we're going to try and make sure that they have one place to call in the nation, and they have one or two websites to go to find out how to report, recover from the incident, and then reinforce their security after they've been a victim, because that's the best time to get someone to add two-factor authentication. And if you're in technology, you know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely. And that's exactly why we're here today. I'm going to do this here. There we go. We're here today to kind of talk about that. So what I want you to cover next, Kristen, is as we look at kind of what's happening today, I'd love for you to share with the audience in this series, we're talking about like kind of what are the biggest attacks that you see today, the biggest vulnerabilities. And just to be clear, we could have security for so many things now. It could be physical security for your house. It could be security for the individual, which is really where your sweet spot is. Individuals out there that you can't really call 911 and say, you know, someone stole your data. And then we also have security for companies. So I think today's sweet spot is for the individual. So that's why we're excited to have anyone in the room. We are broadcasting in Clubhouse. Kristen and I are Clubhouse divas. So if you want to join us, you look up the club. You are the letter U R Conduit. We want to thank Motivate. He has given us the stage. And so with that, Kristen, why don't you share with us a little bit about what things that you're seeing people get had on most today, and we'll head into the future. And then, by the way, for everyone listening out there, you are going to get a chance to have two-way conversation. This is just a way for us to set the stage and get awareness on what's happening in cybercrime and technology today. So I'm going to hand it back over to you, Kristen.
Thanks, Nicole. Shout out to the amazing team at Cybercrime Support Network. We are 25 people strong now, and our entire focus every day is really our mission of providing free services to Americans. And people actually use our services from around the world, but really we're focused on what does the American citizen do when they've been impacted by a cybercrime. And our main victim-facing website is fraudsupport.org. Again, that's fraudsupport.org. You can go there to figure out, okay, if I'm an individual and I've been impacted by a certain type of crime, where do I report? How do I recover? How do I reinforce? There's a lot of good vetted resources on there. And then also small businesses. So don't forget, you know, the small businesses usually are 10 people or under, sometimes even 1 or 2 people. So it's really the same advice for an individual as it is for a small business. Good cyber hygiene is the same for both. But what we're seeing a lot of, unfortunately, especially during COVID, romance scams are just bankrupting people. I mean, it's just, yeah. To me, the cyber criminals that go after people and pretend they're in love with them to steal their entire retirement savings or whatever it may be are probably the lowest of the low. But it's a booming business. especially when people are isolated. If someone lives alone and they don't have a partner right now, where are they going to look for love? Well, we're not in a bar on a Friday night. Not most people are because of COVID, but we're in the clubhouse, so we're still good. But, they're going online to find love. And there's also something called obituary chasing, unfortunately, where when they see an obituary, the bad guys will follow that, especially if someone's husband was a doctor or they seem to live in a rich area. Then a week after the obituary goes out, remember, obituaries don't just go in a Sunday newspaper anymore on someone's doorstep. They go worldwide. They are on the internet. And it's something we really have to explain to people. So what they'll do once they find someone who's probably, really sad, and unfortunately, it's a hard fact right now. 500,000 people have passed away from COVID. That's 500,000 more vulnerable people who have an obituary of their loved one now out there. And so the criminals are taking advantage of it. So what happens is they are courting or dating 700 people at the same time. I don't know how many one romance scammer can handle. A lot of times they'll use military pictures. So one of the Gold Star wives that works with us, when her husband passed away, she had a memorial page for him, and people stole that picture. And she had 4 women call her after her husband had passed away and said, "Is he really gone? Because this is the person I'm supposedly in love with, and I've been sending money to and a computer to and things like that." So, but it's easier to use a military picture and say, "Oh, I'm in Afghanistan. I don't have video. I can't talk to you right now, but I really need help. My family's hurting. We need money. I need a new laptop. It broke and they don't give it to us in the Army, or they'll even say I can't pay my health bills," but people don't realize the military's covering their health care. So romance scams to me are the most disgusting and also one of the most prevalent right now. But then there's a whole nother slew of just COVID scams that are really overtaking people. How to pay ahead of time to get on a vaccine list. You never pay to get on a vaccine list unless you are corrupt. And there's some rich areas, it sounds like, from some of the things I'm reading, where people are paying to get a vaccine. But no one's going to send you an email and say, "Hey, I'll get you to the front of the line for your vaccine." Or there's been a lot of scams about fake COVID remedies. If you drink this tea or put this oil on you, you won't be able to get COVID, and it's just $19.99, and then they get your credit card number, and all other things go downhill from there. So those are some of the big ones, but we can talk about business email compromise and anything else you want to take the time to talk about.
Let's see.
Okay, we're just dealing with the mutant here. I think we're okay on that, which is wonderful. We just want to remind you, if you're out there watching live, we don't have too many people watching, but if you're watching, give us a like or heart. If you're in the room, please come on stage and join us. I've brought up some people who are in, we deal with cybercrime, and it's about viruses and things taking over. And there's a lot of analogies in medical infections, as well as misinformation. So I've brought up an infection specialist who might be able to have two-way conversations, because she knows what it's like in other countries, especially where misinformation can spread. And that's exactly what information warfare is. It's misinformation, and that's everything that you talked about. And so I want to pivot a little bit from the types of things that you see, which is incredibly sad that we see people preying on vulnerability when it's such a hard time and people are isolated and lonely. So those are very sad examples. Obviously, to reinforce what Kristen said, that is exactly why she's here and why she's joining us, is that the passion and the anger that I have right now for hearing that this is a thing is exactly what drives her mission to get people the help they need. So when you find yourself in an attack, obviously, if it's something on your computer and they're asking for money, unhook it from the internet, turn it off as soon as possible so they cannot have time to encrypt your hard drive. And that's a lot of the ransomware that we're seeing now, where they lock it up. And then what I want to do, Kristen, we read an article about security on Clubhouse. If we're on Clubhouse, many of you are listening out there. We appreciate you. Raise your hand, invite some other security people into our room. We're here to talk nerdy. We're going to be on this broadcast for about 5 more minutes live to cover kind of what you've read about on the security of Clubhouse Clubhouse, and maybe just security for social media. You talked about people, coming in with scams, maybe older people, maybe the younger, and I don't want to stereotype, many people are on social media, but maybe generations that are on social media or people that are on some scams that you see in the DMs. Maybe thinking people are trying to shoot their shot, like you said, but what are they doing? Like, how are they getting people to give up information? So I'm going to flip it back to you, Kristen. We're going to flip our mutes here.
Well, it's very simple to get people to give up their information because we share too much. So if I took 10 minutes to do a little bit of searching on you, could I find out what you like to eat, the names of your kids, the baseball team that you follow, where you go to school, where you went to school, where you're an alumni, the company you work for, the job you have? If I get all of that information, I can probably come up with an email that will make you listen to me or answer something or click on something. We're sharing too much online. I mean, you have to look at what you have in your feed of your Instagram and your Facebook and say, does the whole world really have to see that? And, people will say, oh, well, I have privacy settings. Yeah, but your privacy settings are friends of friends, and you have 2,000 friends, and together they have 6 million friends. A lot of people can see your stuff. You just have to understand. If you want to send something privately, text it to someone. If you want to share a picture or something. But all this information that you're putting out online is making you vulnerable because the bad guys are reading it from whatever country they live in, and then they're taking that information to manipulate you into a way that they can get your money. So, for example, I was talking to a friend. Her sister, is a good person, and someone is trying to take advantage of her by saying, look, I'm hurting, or a family that's hurt by COVID. We need money. I see you're Catholic. Oh, I'm Catholic too. Our church has been helping, but we need a little bit more money. Oh, I see you have daughters. I have daughters too. And, they find all this thing that you have in common. Oh, just be so nice if you could help us. We're really a strong family. We're trying to stay together. But they appeal to things like your religion, what you have in common. Oh, you're a dog lover. Oh, I used to have a dog, but he passed away. And now that we don't have money and are living on the street, I can't get a new dog. Whatever you put out there is being used against you. And then it seems so believable because these people that are being, sort of caught up in this scam will tell their family, no, I'm being a good person. And we have a lot in common. And this is a good Christian family or a good Catholic family. And they have 3 daughters. Look at the picture of the 3 daughters. Well, let me tell you, if you've never seen them in person or live like this on a video, they don't exist. You should never give money to someone you haven't actually met in person, had a video conference with, talked to them, and get to know them. If they aren't someone that you would hang out with and have in your living room, that you know them that well, you shouldn't be giving them money.
Hi, everyone. I just want to pop in and say, Ward, Dan, Helen, I've been inviting you up and on the stage.
All right.
Anyone else that would like to pop
We're hot, you guys. We're running hot. We're in the main center here, the main hub of it. So what we're going to do is we are going to move the conversation over to Clubhouse. Before we enter the Clubhouse 100% and open up the stage for two-way conversation, what I want to do is have you kind of close the topic here on the main stage on the video broadcast where we're broadcasting, and then we're going to reset the room in Clubhouse and hear from you. This is a new way of doing things. We like to try new things. I'm an innovator. I'm not scared of trying things because you get to see Kristen. If you're out visiting us on YouTube at Tech Diva Success, find us. We're streaming live right now. Give us a subscribe. That way you can see her spirit and face around this. And then we're going to open it up. So this will be our last comment with Kristen here on the live stream. And I just want to have you leave with one nugget, especially looking at tomorrow. I do want you to talk a little bit about how we're going to enable people to have a quote police force or place to call or place to go when you feel vulnerable. I want you to definitely talk on that, as you know, and then just any last thoughts before we kind of go to the audience and flip out of the live and go to Clubhouse. Thanks, Kristen.
Absolutely. And so I have to say, when Nicole calls me, the chief tech diva tells, I want you to be on this stream at this time. I just say, okay, I'll be there, Nicole. And I knew Vicky was going to be here. So I'm like, I'm all in. I have no idea what we're doing, but I'm there. No, I did know what we were doing. But yeah, I would follow Nicole anywhere. Thank you for including me in this. It's really, really important that we get the word out that there are resources for people right now. And some of the biggest resources they have are 2 free websites. One is fraudsupport.org. All the tech people on here, I know everybody calls you because you have the word cyber or technology in your title. When everything gets hacked, they call you. Now you can send them to fraud support and you can get your Sunday back or whatever it may be. The other one is scamspotter.org. And we did that website with Google. And the video on there has already had 2 million hits in the past 4 months, 3 months maybe. And it's where you can take people and sort of walk them through, is this a scam or is this not a scam? And so you have this sort of trusted third party in Google and CSN saying to your mother or whoever, that person isn't really real. They're not in love with you. Don't give them any more money. So 2 really great sites. But this isn't enough. The reason we're here and in business is because we've seen 7 other countries around the world where they have a national call center. Someone in Israel can call 119 for cybercrime, and they get a person on the phone, a live person who will help them deal with the issue and then get them to law enforcement if there is a law enforcement reaction. And we're advocating for that with Congress. And the Cyberspace Solarium Commission has just put out a recommendation to the Biden administration to build a national cyber center. So we're hoping that that will happen in the next year and a half, and we're going to be right there on top of it.
Wow. Well, let's see here.
And we just want to thank you for coming on the live stream. Again, we're going to move over, reset the room, and we hope everyone joins us. If you want to join Clubhouse, I've been doing some lives about it. Would love to share with you. And now we are going to PTR and get some people on stage for some two-way conversations. So thanks for joining us on the live video side of things. Kristen, always a pleasure. We're here for the good. You are positioned perfectly. And she is a tech diva. You can hear her on the podcast that I do, Tech Diva Success. And, Kristen's just a great one. So thank you all for joining the live video. We're going to end that.